相约创业智友，灵感互动，分享经验，吸纳人才与资金，挖掘战略合作商机。欢迎收看《创业谈》。
Okay, right. I think there's a huge opportunity between Australia and China. I organized the event to make a platform for people who have experience to share their knowledge and share their stories, so audience can learn real things from them.
So I'm currently the head of community at Airtree Ventures, which is one of Australia's largest venture capital firms. I've been in the startup sector for pretty much all of my career over the last 9 years. So I'm of course very passionate about tech and innovation in Australia. But because I'm also from a Chinese background ethnically, my hometown is Chengdu, and in the last 5 years I've done a lot of work between Australia and China, trying to promote technology and trade collaboration. So I'm obviously very passionate about this topic, and so in today's workshop, I wanted to help more Australians understand the great opportunities that exist in China and all the great people that they can get connected to in Australia to help them in that journey.
So I'm Brian, the CEO for Block42 and Strategy, two companies. I joined today because I would like to share some experience and insight that I have for running a company in both China and Australia. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, we have been investing in Australia for more than 5 years. It's a no-brainer. StarCon is one of the biggest events in Australia. It's a place to find interesting partners, potential deal flows, and a lot more. Yeah, that's why we're here. Yeah. Also, of course, thanks for the invitation by G5.
So I'm the director of the Sydney Innovation Center. I'm from the Young Startup Region Institute of Tsinghua University, Zhejiang. So for our institute, we do the industrialization and commercialization, can help the overseas, the startup project, the list project who want to develop China. We help them to access the government funding, the local enterprise resources, the collaboration opportunities in China to help them to develop in China. So the StarCon event is one of the biggest festival in Australia for the startup companies. So of course there will be a lot of startup companies they want to develop in China. China is a huge market. And so our institute can help a lot in this way, can help them a lot. So we and G5 we also partner, so together we host this kind of event to let the more startup companies to understand more about the Chinese market, the Chinese cultural situation, to help them to successfully develop in China. Thanks.
So why do you invite these three speakers, keynote speakers?
Okay, right. So all those keynote speakers are my friends. They can share their experience from different perspectives. Kurt is a very experienced investor who invested in Australia, China, and the US. He knows everything about cross-border investment. And Melissa is the ecosystem builder, working one of the largest VC firm in Australia. And he used to work with some Chinese entrepreneurs and know everything for entrepreneurs, how to do business in China. And Brian is also my friend. I introduced him to attend the competition in China and get funded. So I think they can share their real experience with audience today.
Well, I've worked with Chris a lot in the past, and so we've done a lot of different events together. I've spoken on panels he's put on, and we've collaborated when I've taken people from Australia to China. So, you know, we have a great working relationship, and I guess he knows my background and my passion, my genuine passion for this. And so, you know, he thought I would do a great job, and I'm also very happy to support him.
So from your experience, what kind of projects you actually connect from, you led from Australia to China? What kind of industries or what kind of projects you think has the biggest opportunity at the moment?
So for the industries, very broad industries, it includes, for example, the digital economy industries, the biomedical industry, the advanced manufacturing, and the new materials, all kinds of industries. So it's very broad. Just those projects who are very interested in the Chinese market, and their projects that are very suitable for the Chinese market, they want to develop in China, then we can help them to go to China to access the government funding, the investment resources, the local enterprise resources, a lot of collaboration opportunities. And our institute is one of the biggest platforms in China to the industrialization, can help them a lot. Yeah, so for those projects, they from my suggestion, for those projects, of course they need to understand their project, the suitability with the Chinese market. That's very important, because actually there's some difference in the culture between Australia and China. Some project is very good in Australia, but because a lot of things different between these two countries, they may not suitable for the Chinese market. For this kind of project, even though they did very well in here, but they may not be very successful in China. So I think the suitability to the Chinese market is very important, and also they need to be very competitive as well, because it's a very intense competition in Chinese market. Thank you.
We have some questions from audience.
Okay, so Kurt, I have heard of that, Australian startup world is behind the world. So
Behind what?
Behind the world. 13 years.
Yes and no, I would say, because in Australia we got great company like Atlassian, as you probably know, which has been doing great in their area. Also, some of our portfolio, like what I talked just now, Catapult Sports proudly is one of the leaders in this world too. In Australia, we also got successful companies like Cochlear, definitely leader in that regard. So, but because of the market specification of Australia, it's not easy to always see big companies, such as in China we see Alibaba, we see Tencent, in US we see Amazon, we see other big companies. Not easy to find these kind of big giants in Australia in some ways. But like Atlassian, like Cochlear, you cannot say they're a small company. And I personally don't believe it's like you said 40 years, 14. Why is this number? I don't know. I mean, I think it's less than that, because in other way, Australia's system is good. I mean, the general business system, like credibility system, like regulatory, I mentioned a lot of these things, even though not specific to startup world, but all these are very, very developed in many ways, even better than US. I don't compare to China. Some of the system here is easier than US. So I probably don't say it's lagged behind that much, maybe a little bit. Especially in the recent years, we have seen Australia is catching up very fast.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, we have, I think in Australia have more than 20 unicorns now, if I'm not wrong. At least in 2014, only one or two kind of unicorn company. You know what is unicorn company, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I don't in favor of that expression.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. as you know, Tencent, they are making a lot of profit from the gaming.
Yeah.
Out their business income streams.
Yeah.
So, but government actually set restrictions on what gaming is about. Because as Melissa mentioned, Startup is all about resolve problem, make the world better.
Yeah.
So how can a gaming business make the world better?
Well, that's why I started the second company, education, because I want to apply all my knowledge on games to education, to gamify education, so make learning experience a lot more fun. I think like you can either do learnification for gaming, or you can do gamification for learning.
Yeah. So the question is back to the gaming one.
Yeah.
So how can that gaming business make the world better? Because I don't know, like I didn't even know what that gaming business is about. So just want to get an idea from it. Obviously, it's making money.
Yeah.
So the next step and the next question is how can that business make the world better?
Okay, that's actually a very good question. For our latest launch title, Projection, it's actually not an addictive game. It's not a monetization game. There's no gambling inside. There's nothing like what the normal freemium games is like. It's actually a storytelling game to explain what the Chinese culture is to the Western world or to the whole world. And it actually became the launch title for Apple Arcade. Apple uses our game to promote their new platform everywhere. It's on their newsroom, it's on Apple WWDC, it's also on the Forbes News. So that one is doing quite well by just telling what the world, that traditional culture is.
That's a very good mission, and I hope you can do better on that. And also, you mentioned in the public speech today, you actually got 2 million fundings from a one night dinner with someone. I hope you can have the chance to have that dinner with Jack Ma or Pony Ma, and maybe you can get more funding from it.
Yep. Let's hope that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, from technology point of view, China is more advanced than Australia at the moment, right? A lot of aspects. What will be the advantage from Australian project go back to China? What will be the main entry market points you think has a bigger opportunity?
Yeah, this is a very good question. The Chinese now develop very fast, and for example, in the new technology in the IT area, Chinese got a lot of very big companies. For example, the Alibaba, the online business, for example, the Jingdong, Taobao, those kind of companies, they develop quite well. And Australia is a bit slow in this area. So for this area, it's actually a bit hard for the Australian startup companies to go to China. But for these industries, it doesn't mean that they don't have the opportunity in China. They just need to understand the competitors in China very well. They need to find the uniqueness compared to those competitors that can solve the Chinese market problem. I think that would make them successfully develop in China. Thank you.